Hi everyone and welcome to a quick video about Civilization 6 Australian Summer 2017 update. So this was just released on Steam less than 12 hours ago when I'm recording this video, and it has a few interesting changes as well as mod support and modding tools. We'll go through all the patch notes and see what's new and changed. So without further ado, let's get started. First off, the update includes DLC for the Australia Civilization, led by Prime Minister John Curtin. We'll talk about that a little bit later. As well as free features for all players such as Steam Workshop and modding tools, as well as multiplayer teams functionality. Multiplayer teams and mod tools have been two of the community's most requested features, and we're happy to bring them to Civilization 6. Steam Workshop will allow you to browse, add and subscribe to mods more easily, and the other tools will make it easier for artists and modders to change the game. And in multiplayer you can team up with your friends and conquer the world together against AI or human opponents. There are also balance changes and bug fixes in this update, ranging from trade routes to ice caps, obsolete units to AI upgrades. Please check the complete list of changes below. So here's the list. We'll go through all the points one by one. First, teams. Multiplayer teams have been added to Civilization 6, and this feature builds on updates to the Alliance Agreement. Players on teams gain additional benefits beyond those of an alliance, as follows. When one teammate finishes research on a tech or civic, their teammates receive a boost for that tech or civic. Teammates share ward status against opponents not on their team, and teammates also share allied status with opponents not on their team. Teammates work together to win or lose the game as single entity. The religion and culture victories have been reworked, so they are more cooperative. The religion victory requires you to convert all civs to one of the religions shared by your team, and the culture victory requires one team member of your team to be culturally dominant over all players not on your team. Modding tools. Updated lobby and in-game UI to better show additional content details. Added Sid Meier's Civilization 6 development tools, which includes mod body, tools, fire tuner and the Steam Workshop uploader. Mod body, a packaging and development tool. Art asset tools, import FBX files into a format usable by the game, as well as customize existing art. Fire tuner, in-game debugging and editing tool. Added Civilization 6 development assets, which includes the game art assets. This is a large download, approximately 7 GB compressed download and 27 GB on the disk, which contains game assets including models, textures, and interface elements. And Steam Workshop, access mods created by the Steam community via the Steam Workshop. Share your mods with the Steam community with the Steam Workshop uploader. So this one is fairly self-explanatory. The modding tools is something I think most people have been waiting for since release. And hopefully that means we'll see more activity in the modding scene in the coming weeks and months. Looking forward to it myself. Modbuddy will also receive additional updates in the future as part of a modding SDK update later. These tools do not include DLL sorts for Civilization 6 at this time. This is the only unfortunate part, but I guess it will come in the future. And then we got Miscellaneous, added True Start Location feature where civs start on the world map at their geographic origin, and added a city-state slider to game setup. So I'm guessing the True Start Location is something a lot of people have been waiting for. I'm not a huge fan of True Start Locations myself, but I know a lot of people really enjoy them, so that's definitely a good addition to the game. Then we got balance changes. Start position and map generation has been tuned. Updated ice generation to allow more for circumnavigation. Commercial hub and harbor both provide +1 trade route capacity, but only the first one applies. Used to stack for +2 capacity total. So this is kind of a harbor nerf, which is a little bit strange, but it is what it is. Units that are embarked now use an era-based strength value instead of their base combat value. Many of the texts that reveal strategic resources have been changed to reveal the resource before it is needed to build resource-dependent units. So this is a very good change, because quite often you would research units that require certain resource, but you didn't have that resource yet because you had no real chance to pick it up. This is definitely a step in the right direction. Players can now build obsoleted units if they do not have access to the strategic resource required by the upgrade unit. That is also a pretty good change, for obvious reasons I would think. Tech tree rebalance. Adding several prerequisites to address paths through the tree that were too quick and led to era transitions too early. Horseback riding now requires archery. Archery is no longer a leaf tech. So up until now, it was possible to just completely ignore archery. That will not be possible anymore. Next, we got Stirrups is now in the late medieval era and costs 390, was early medieval and cost 300. That is a good change, I would think, because it was a little bit too easy to get Stirrups and get knights, which are pretty damn strong. Now it will be slightly harder. You can still beeline for it, but it will be a little bit more challenging, I suppose. Or it will take slightly longer. Then we got Industrialization now requires square rigging, Scientific Theory now requires banking, Steel now requires rifling, and computers now require radio. Next, updated the cost and strength of some air units, no details here. Change movement rolls after disembarkation, cannot land on shore with more movement than your land movement allowance. And updated Vikings scenario to 60 turns. I've not played the Vikings scenario, so I can't comment on that. Then we got AI tuning. I think this is the part a lot of people were looking forward to. But whether it's what the game needed or not, I'll leave it up to you to judge. So, first, increase desire and ability to use nukes and aircraft and maintain a standing military. General AI attack improvements. So that's obviously a step in the right direction. Question is, what exactly are those general AI attack improvements? And how obvious is going to be in-game? It's kind of impossible to judge the AI changes without actually playing through the game. But it's definitely a good thing that there are AI changes in the first place. Next up, increase the desire to declare friendship. Yep, that's definitely a good thing, because it was a little bit too hard to get friendly with the AI. And it was mostly just not worth it for how hard it was. Hopefully it will be a little bit easier now. But there are no changes to the agenda system, which is often what prevents you from ever being able to get friendly with certain AIs, as you probably know. Next, reduced frequency of your troops are on my border warning, updated settlement preferences, barbarians now rampage when their camp is destroyed, will now liberate minor civs and cities of current allies, tuned strategic and luxury resource trading, will now be more aware of gold income and work to bring in more. Yep, that's definitely a good thing, because AI has been really crap at getting gold. Next up, support units will recognize that they are not under threat if they share a hex with a friendly unit. Added a grace period of 2 turns after the end of open borders before the AI starts complaining you're too close to their territory. Yeah, that's a good one. Barbarians may now pillage tiles to heal. So that will make barbarians even more annoying early on, which I'm not sure if I like, but it is what it is. And finally, AI will now continue to research repeatable techs and civics. So techs and civic are the end of the tree. Then we got bug fixes. Congo relics no longer get multiplied faith yields if more than one is in the same building. Fixed some bugs with great people not interacting correctly with Vikings' natural wonders. Sumeria will no longer share joint war experience with a player when killing barbarians. That's a funny one. Corrected tourism calculation from national parks to ensure correct awarding. Fixed an issue where you could sometimes not offer joint war. Spies will not have the Steel Tech mission available when you have already completed all techs. Makes sense. City-states gain territory for influence even if they get the influence before founding their city. When a player is destroyed, his captured spies die with him. All of your active spy missions stop in a city that you or an ally has just captured. Makes sense. Fixed a problem in tactical combat that was preventing units from capturing builders. You are no longer allowed to declare war on declared friends, or in an enforced peace period from the troops near me warning. Increase jet fighter and jet bomber sight range up from 2 to 5. Why is this under bug fixes? I guess it was intended to be 5. Alright, and additional bug fixes. Visuals added snow environmental effects and sand environmental effects. And multiplayer added turn unready button. UI added more bindable keys, toggle resource icons, toggle tourism lanes, and alert action. And added a notification for when player loses territory to a culture bomb. There are a few more notifications missing from the game. Like, for example, one notification that I would really like to see is when you got units in city bombardment range. That would be nice. You know, like the one Civ 5 had. Then we got audio, adding some missing UI sounds. Vikings DLC added voiceover and updated quotes for free natural wonders. Yeah, they had no voiceovers previously, which was a little bit strange. Added voiceover to natural wonders while in the scenario. And Miscellaneous, credits updated, fixed some missing ARX images, updating game concepts for city-states, trade routes, and great people. Explained some things that were not there before. Patronage, gold income for foreign routes passing through the city, as well as some clarifications. So next up, we got Australia Civilization and Scenario Pack, which is a new DLC released alongside the patch. And apparently Australia has been a consistent top pick by the fans, which is why it now appears in the game for the first time as a premium DLC for the Civilization 6. And the leader is John Curtin. John Curtin was Australia's Prime Minister during World War II and is credited with providing both strong leadership for the country at that time, as well as establishing the country to take its place in the post-war international order. In Civilization 6, his ability, Citadel of Civilization, gives Australia production bonus when they are targeted for war. Australia is a civ that gets bonus housing for coastal cities, bonuses for building districts on attractive terrain, and additional production if targeted for war. Australia's unique unit is the Digger, which replaces infantry, and their unique improvement is the Outback Station. Australia can grow and thrive in places where other civs would struggle. The Outback Tycoon scenario is a unique non-combat scenario where you will try to enrich your new territory in a randomly generated Australian interior. And Oloro comes to Civilization 6, bringing religion and culture to the territory that surrounds it. So, Australia DLC. Unique ability. Australian coastal cities always receive extra housing. Pastures also trigger the culture bomb effect, grabbing adjacent tiles from other civs and city-states. Yields from campuses, commercial hubs, holy sites, and theater squares are enhanced in attractive terrain. John Curtin unique ability. John Curtin's unique ability is called Citadel of Civilization. Australia gets bonus production at the start of a defensive war and when it liberates a city. Then we got the unique unit, the Digger. Australia's unique unit is the Digger, which gets bonuses to combat on land tiles adjacent to water and when fighting outside their territory. Alright. Then we got the Outback Station. Unique tile improvement that unlocks with the Guild Civic and can be upgraded with steam power and rapid deployment. It provides food and production with bonus food for adjacent pastures. And the Outback Tycoon scenario. In this 60-turn non-combat scenario, you race to explore Australia, find its natural resources, and use them to enrich your colony. This competitive economic scenario has no combat. It emphasizes exploration and territorial expansion to increase your gold per turn net income, which is your score. Oloro Natural Wonder. This desert wonder provides bonus faith and culture to adjacent tiles. And that's that. That's the Australia DLC, and that's the Australian Summer 2017 update. Australia seems like a pretty strong civ so far. Extra housing is nice. Extra housing is always nice, because housing can be really annoying to get, although it does require coastal cities, and you can't always start a decent coastal city. So we'll see how that works out. It will be very map dependent. Even if you start close to the coast, which I assume Australia will, they probably have a coastal bias if I had to guess. But even when you start next to the coast, you can't always start actual good coastal cities. Sometimes the obvious optimal location is not coastal, so we'll see how that works out. It doesn't say just how much extra housing we're talking about. because if it's just, let's say, +2, that might not be worth it. If it's +5, then it probably is. The question is, will it be worth it to start slightly suboptimal cities just for the sake of receiving the extra housing bonus? We'll see about that. The culture bomb effect is nice, although it doesn't actually specify how exactly that works, so that will require some testing. And the increased yields from campuses, commercial hubs and holy sites, and theater squares. The increased yields are obviously always nice, but it doesn't specify just how much they will be increased, and what kind of attractive terrain we're talking about, so this will obviously require some testing. But it seems like a very versatile bonus, since you can get bonus yields to campuses, commercial hubs, holy sites and theater squares. That's really nice. And the unique ability, the leader unique ability, this seems like one of the strongest parts of Australia civilization, because production is always very important, and especially on higher difficulty levels, you will very often get war declared on you by one of your AI neighbors very early into the game. This can be the toughest part of the early game, especially if you're busy fighting barbarians. So getting that production boost from early war declaration, which usually happens no matter what you do, not always, but more often than not it will happen no matter what you do. Mostly because there's no penalty for declaring war in the ancient era. So getting that production bonus will be really helpful. The unique unit seems pretty good as well. Bonuses when fighting outside of their territory, so basically bonuses in any offensive war. I assume these are two separate bonuses and they will stack with each other. The one that gives you a combat bonus when adjacent to water, and the one that gives you combat bonus when fighting outside of your territory. And then we got the Outback Station as well. This seems decent. It will require some specific city placement because you require pastures. You won't always have easy pastures to get. So this will depend on the map, it will depend on the general terrain around you and around your starting location. But overall, I'm under the impression Australia is a pretty strong civ, especially for your economy. In any case, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.